All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. It's been a while since I've done one of these live streams, so we've been, it's been about a month, so probably a little bit lighter attendance today. I'll probably go for about half an hour, 45 minutes, and we're gonna just go through any kind of stock picks, charts you guys want me to look at. Ask me any questions on, anything related to the markets, and we'll get into it. Give me an audio check. Let me know how the audio sounds, and we will get right over into these charts. So once you guys just leave a comment below, and on the audio especially, kind of we got about a 20-second delay here on YouTube, so I'm going to start off today. We'll look at triple Qs, and we'll go ahead and just dig into some of these charts. All right, let's see here. Yeah, just give me an audio check, and then we'll go ahead and let me know if you guys can hear me. Okay, so triple Qs. We will just start off with broad analysis. All right, I went home on Friday short, and the reason being is we came into resistance. All right, so again, regardless of all the hype and everything you see in the media, obviously last week was a pretty strong week to the upside, and we closed right at resistance. Here it is on the daily chart: resistance, resistance. There's resistance, resistance, and I guess we didn't close completely on resistance, so they could go up a little bit more, but it's close enough to start building positions for a short trade, or at very minimum, a pullback trade. All right, I can't say, definitively that we're going to just, completely move all the way down. We'll take it day by day, but a pullback trade I think is in order. So we will be looking for that. And again, there's a little bit more upside to that trend line. It's about, from where we're at right now, 0.5% or so, a little bit, 0.6%. So we'll watch that as resistance and react around that key level. Okay. Also, I did point out in my video, if you look at the hourly chart, super overstretched on the RSI. You'll see down here, look at that RSI right there. Doesn't mean it, it's starting to pull back, but it was about 87.55 on the hourly chart for the RSI. And if I roll back and look at the past history of triple Qs, I can't really, let me move this up here just for a second. Yeah, there it is right there. Let me just mark it out, because this, there it is. That's where the RSI basically was at, and I can't see a reading on triple Qs right there. So we got that high on the RSI back in October 19th, 2021. So definitely there was some more upside right there. You can't say that the RSI is, an overbought RSI is not a reason to short. Okay, I don't short just because the RSI is overbought, because again, you can become more overbought, or the RSI can pull back while it consolidates. But we were that overbought right there. If I zoom in to that price action, if I can find it, yeah, right in there. RSI was that overbought. We did have kind of a series of some pullbacks. There's one right there. It's about 0.7%, and then another pullback there about 1.5% or so. So for right now, that's kind of what I'm looking for, is just a kind of a pullback trade, and then we'll evaluate it if we get that. But the difference between this RSI and the one where we're at kind of right now is we're right there at resistance. All right, we're pulling into kind of key resistance where we weren't necessarily doing that back then. So really overstretched on the RSI on the hourly chart into key resistance that has been in place, you know, really, we've been in a downtrend. So, you know, if you've been bullish since July, essentially, mid-July, we've been making a series of lower lows and lower highs. Now, that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that we're just going to collapse. You're going to have rallies, all right? And there you go. That's lower highs, lower lows. So if this trend continues, no guarantees, but if it does, then we're going to make a new lower low, all right? So, and we're at resistance. So objective to short here at resistance. It was not objective to short back when we were, you know, down here at the lows, all right? And if you're in the private member group, you'll know I definitely put out a comment talking to you guys about how I was actually looking to take profit on my shorts right back here and actually was looking for a long trade, all right? And that's exactly what I said in the private member group, made a post about that, and, you know, that worked out. So caught that bounce. I didn't catch all of it because I started shorting right here, not on Friday, but on Thursday. So I looked to, you know, start shorting there. My main reason behind it, and, you know, in case you didn't watch the video yesterday, I think I talked about it, but why I looked to start shorting yesterday, yes, there was this downtrend line resistance, so I knew that that was like the potential upside. We still had a little more upside potentially. No guarantees though, right? There's nothing guaranteed. When I look at the Apple chart, we were trading right into resistance on Thursday, all right, and actually closed slightly down, you know, but there we go, right into resistance. So that was kind of my main reason why I looked to start shorting the triple Qs on Thursday, and that's kind of where we're at. So that's the best I can do on, you know, where we're at as of right now. We went long down. I didn't go long Apple, but I went long triple Qs and then caught the rally. We're shorting at resistance, looking for the next move lower. If that changes, we'll evaluate. So what else do we want to look at here? Amazon, let me kind of look at that one. Yeah, I don't see a whole lot there. The bigger picture for me on Amazon is the weekly chart. You'll see here on the weekly, this is the bull market in Amazon. Pretty much starting since 1997. That's your IPO time, and lots of reactions. Nice, clean bull market. Logarithmic scaling, in case you guys can't replicate it, and that has we're no longer in a bull market. At least not that bull market. You break, back test down, rallied. But didn't really make a series of higher highs, just equal highs. And so that's where we're at now. Need to take out this trend line right there on the weekly to usher in the next leg lower in Amazon. So that would be a key level of support on the weekly chart. And still holding that support. So yeah, we could pop up, guys. I mean, it is completely possible we pop up and put in a new divergent high. It would be a divergent high on the weekly. You can see here, there's your negative divergence. So if we run up and put in a slightly new higher high, it's still going to be divergence on the weekly, indicating that we're likely going to get sold into. But again, this is a weekly chart, so it takes months to kind of play out. All right, so that's all. That's pretty much the broad market. Semiconductors also are interesting. Here's SOXX, the semiconductor, kind of the bleeding edge of tech is what people call it. So look, resistance, 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 and that's it. Closing pretty much at resistance. Even if you took a short right at that resistance level right there, when it hit it, you're profitable. Not by much, but that's about it. What, 0.8%? So the sellers were waiting there, and I think there's probably, I don't know. I think we probably gapped down on Monday, and if you're short, I think we gap down, maybe go back down to the 200-day like that. And then at that point, we'll have to see, I mean, I probably won't stick with my shorts. I'll probably just wait and see. We need to, take out key levels of support. You want to short at resistance or when you break key levels of support. The 200-day would be a key level, and then obviously shorting right there at resistance. Those are both objective. But to be short right at the 200, yeah, I'd probably just take my profit and then wait and see. Okay, so that's what I have on that. I'm going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and just start at the top, and we'll just look at some of these charts. LAC. Lithium Americas Corp. All right, we're on a daily chart. We've got bullish divergence on the RSI. Let me move my RSI back down to the bottom. There we go. Nothing on the PPO. Earnings coming up, so higher risk. This is kind of a junk stock too. So I personally would not want to be positioned in this ahead of earnings. Let earnings kind of clear out and then you can see. But I mean, you could potentially be positioned. I would just go flat right ahead of earnings. You know, if your earnings isn't till the end of November, so on this one, yeah, I don't really have a super clean trend line that I can make. Probably something like this is the best we could do. Yeah, there we go. So there's resistance. Okay, so you've got this bullish falling wedge pattern taken out to the downside. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. I wouldn't touch it, but that's just me. I already covered Amazon. ENPH. That's that interphase one or whatever. ENPH. So on the daily, there's really nothing bullish. I pointed out your level of support previously. All right, so that's why I have this trend line there. Support, 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 boom, sell signal. All right, so if you didn't get out there, that was your sell signal. You broke support. You know, we were building bullish divergence there, but boom, they clearly took out support. So that's a sell signal. I mean, when you break support, you know, you can short or, you know, exit longs, and there's no divergences really. It's just bearish. Probably going to get some sort of a snapback maybe. I mean, if you go to the hourly, I'm sure there's some bullish divergence. Yeah, slight bullish divergence there. And that would be like your downtrend sign. So maybe a gap fill potentially, but ultimately is a sell the rip stock is what I see. So that's it. XLF and Jets. XLF, that's our financial sector. Rally into the 200-day. So that's resistance right now. You can see, you know, you hit the 200-day, sell down. Hit the 200-day. It's above it slightly, but just barely. It's not impulsive enough to say that you've clearly recovered that. I mean, it's just barely there, closing right on it. So that's resistance. I suspect we get another pullback. And then there's obviously this downtrend line to watch as well. Bullish, if you take out that downtrend line. The 200-day, I wouldn't give too much. Like, I don't usually like the 200-day a whole lot in terms of acting as a key level, but because you can see, look, they take it out, recover it. Take it out, then it was rejected, but there's several times where you kind of take it out and then recover it, so it can get choppy right in that area. But resistance right there. And then you obviously, if you're going to look at XLF, you want to look at JP Morgan and Visa. Really, JP Morgan and Visa would be kind of the two I'd keep an eye on. JP Morgan, so there is former resistance. And again, this is why I went home short on Friday. Not this one per se, but former resistance. There's some reactions that it was support, and closing right on it. So that's it. Probably going to get a pullback, and we'll see. And then Visa. Yeah, Visa. So Visa could go up a little more. You've got this trend line. So you've got support, 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 support. All the while building divergence, negative divergence. So to me, this big divergence that has been building indicates that we've started a downtrend and we're getting a counter trend rally. You know, you've got a move down, rally, move down, rally. This could backtest for sure. You know, there's definitely a decent amount of momentum in the market. So I wouldn't fall in love with any kind of shorts because obviously they could, you know, the momentum could carry this up for a new divergent high, which would be up there. So if you rallied into that level, take out the most recent highs, rally right into trendline resistance and put in a new divergent high, then that would obviously be an objective short area. It's not really an objective short right here, right where it's at. So it's not, you know, I don't want to have a position on this one right here. But if it could rally up and put in a new divergent high right into key resistance, I'd want to short it right up there. So again, don't want to be long, right? You know, I don't want to take a long right here. You want to take a long, you know, basically, see that? You make a new low, it's a divergent low, boom. Okay, so you want to be long kind of right in that area. Use the 1 hour chart to maybe hone in your entry. And you want to, you know, potentially look at taking profits and a little higher, you'd want to look at shorting. So that's what I see on that one. So that's your financials. And then what? Jets is a travel ETN or ETF. Yeah, I was looking at this one. So I've got resistance here on the daily chart. We're coming into it now. Slight bullish divergence on the RSI. And nothing really on the PPO. So, you know, you gap up and that's bullish. Otherwise, you probably get rejected here and have at least a pullback. So that's what I see on that one. UI, is that the rental one? Or Ubiquity? So earnings just reported. It got smoked on earnings. It's a divergent low as of right now. It's not confirmed because you don't have these things starting to turn up. So it could keep going lower and just take out the divergence. And again, you don't want to just short because you have divergence. Like when I talk about divergence, I'm merely talking about a condition. I'm saying, okay, the conditions are either developing or are well developed for a trend reversal, and then we look for that trend reversal. So I'm merely talking about the conditions. I don't see much here, though. It's not a very clean chart, to be honest. You know, you're taking out that could hold the support. Maybe look for a snapback. We'll see how that, you know, just watch it on Monday. You know, if this can hold the support, then again you're at support, but you're below it slightly. So if it can recover, then yeah, you're probably at support, and you could get a rally to the top of this potential trend line. It's only potential because I've got 1, 2 data points. I don't have a third, so not my favorite chart. I would personally just move on. WSM, Waste Management, I think, or Williams Sonoma. Nah, looks like it's in an uptrend. Let me double check. Again, not a very clean trend line, so I can't make a clean trend line there. And just kind of in the middle. No man's land. I don't see any real divergence. Yeah, for me, it's a no touch. And earnings is coming up, so yeah, it's just not a clean chart. So I wouldn't mess with that one. All right, let's see here. IWM. So that one, you know, pretty strong rally, obviously, in mostly due to the financials, I believe. But you know, there's slight resistance, but you're probably going to go up and test the 200. Better resistance right overhead about 180, and then the 200. I suspect we get a little pullback though. Probably come fill these gaps. Just with triple Qs being at resistance and stuff, I could see us going like this. Fill the gap, then the buyers will be waiting again. So that's kind of what I would lean towards. And then maybe a push up towards that resistance in 200, and then we'll see. You know, at that point, probably get rejected. But we'll see. CMI or CAT? Well, what's CMI? I don't know what that one is. Oh, Cummins diesel. Okay. Well, let's take a look. So you've got bullish divergence on the PPO. It's just there, and it's confirmed because you've got the bullish crossover there, starting to cross over. It's not really there on the RSI, so it's not super clean. I don't know. It's not my favorite chart, to be honest. Maybe a rally to the 200, maybe not. Let me look at CAT. And also Triple M. I want to take a look at that one. Yeah, no divergence here. You'll just see momentum is just dropping on the daily. So this, to me, just looks like a counter trend rally. You had an uptrend line, sell signal. You had negative divergence, at least I think you did. Let me look. Yeah, right in there. Basically, the momentum was dropping here, okay? And then price, they spiked it up and made kind of an equal high right there. That's your divergent high. So at that point, you had negative divergence. You'd be on the lookout for a sell signal. Sell signal really came there where you cleanly broke the trend. And it's lower highs and lower lows. That's a big low reversal. I don't see any indication of a trend reversal. So to me, it looks like a downtrend. Rallies into resistance will likely get sold into. Let me look at Triple M. This one has bullish divergence here. See that right there? See the momentum? And then that's a divergent low. It's rallying off of that. Also hitting support. Support, and they stepped in a little early, but so that's a more bullish looking chart that you need to be, but we're right in the middle now, so it's like, what do you want to do with that? So I don't know, kind of in the middle. It could rally up, you know, you could rally up to this kind of 200 in the trend line, but it's in the middle, so not objective to take a trade on it. All right, let's see here. URI, that's United Rentals. Again, in the middle. Resistance is kind of overhead, but it did chop through it quite a bit. So I'd probably have to just move it up to right there at this point, which would be about 492.50, right in the middle. So not objective for a trade. So, you know, resistance up there, and then support is, you know, pretty much right down here, about 416.30-ish. XHB is our Homebuilders. They went like parabolic, basically. Because the market's pricing in a Fed pivot, essentially, where the Fed's done hiking rates. Now, traditionally, if you guys really go back and look, traditionally, during Fed rate hike, when they have rate hike cycles, when the Fed pauses and then ultimately starts cutting, is usually the indication of when stocks actually start falling, okay? Because that means you're going into recession. So usually you have the largest moves down in the markets when the Fed pauses or starts cutting. not when they're actually hiking. So that's traditionally how it works. XHB, breakout there, obviously. So maybe could pull back and rally a little more. To me, this looks like the trend line right about there. So, yeah, I think we probably pull back and could continue to rally. Maybe a bull flag. I don't want to short this one. At least we're at resistance. So, yeah, again, right there, you see kind of, we're basically at that resistance level there. And so, yeah, I think you get a pullback. It's hard to say how much of a pullback because, again, only when we start breaking key support levels can you, kind of stack on those sell signals. Okay, corn. Romeo, I already covered a bunch of yours, so I do want to get to some others, but I'll look at MOS. Corn's very similar to wheat, so if you've been on, that trade, it's not working yet. Not really not working. It's just sitting there, grinding around. So we need it to do something. Yeah, I can't. There's not. This is the best trend line I can make on that one. So you've got some bullish divergence. You've got earnings coming up. I'd let that clear out first, to be honest, because divergence isn't enough to just buy it. They could put in a new divergent low, kind of come down, take out the most recent lows right here, and put in a divergent low and then reverse. That might be something to look for. I don't see much to take action on right now. USO, that's our oil stocks, or oil fund, basically. At support, roughly at support. Let me look at the futures. Not nat gas futures. We'll look at the oil futures. Momentum's moving lower. I don't see too much in the way of bullish divergence. I've got kind of negative momentum. It's pretty much at support, So, I don't know. Not a short. I don't know if I want to go long that one quite yet. I probably have to do a little more homework. USO looks like it's at support right there. Could come down and make a new low. I don't see any real divergence on the PPO. RSI's pointed down, so it's not enough for a long, at least not a trend long. Maybe it wants to bounce, but probably want to do a little more homework on that one before I felt confident. I think it could go down and test the 200. That's possible. I'd probably be more of a buyer down there if as long as the charts look good. Zoom. This one's probably spiked pretty high, didn't it, on Thursday and Friday? Actually, not that much. Well, so let's look at this one. Yeah, I don't have a trend line there that I can make. No real divergence. Nothing that I don't know. It's not objective to buy it right here. I just don't see much in terms of buying it. Although it's clearly got some momentum, so it could carry up to the 200, but it's just not an objective trade. So personally, I just don't like it. All right, ARDX. I have no idea what this one is. Junk stock, so. Earnings is out of the way, so that's always good. You know, this is your bullish trend, roughly. Kind of choppy though, huh? Well, it's either topping or consolidating for the next leg up. Either way, there's no buy signal. So you'd want to, you'd want to at very minimum probably take out the highs to initiate a buy signal. And, you'd want to look for divergence. If it takes out the highs and there's no negative divergence, probably the real deal. You'd probably want to look to buy the dip, but I don't think so. Personally, to me, you can see it's been the momentum, even though it's making new highs, is dropping slightly. So make an equal high as that high, but on less momentum there. So yeah, looks like it's topping to me. But it's range bound. So that's it. There's the bottom of the range. Till you take out that range, it's range bound. So buy at support, sell at resistance. All right, let's see here. Deck. No, guys, someone asked if I changed my mind on the live streams. I've just been super busy. My kid's been in soccer, so I've been for the last month. That's all over now, so I've just haven't been able to do the Saturday morning live streams, and there was some travel involved as well. So. Deck. I don't know. What I had there before was okay. That's what I got for right now. It's the best I can do. You've got the lows, you've got that data point, and you've got that one. All right, and clearly a reaction there. You hit it, boom, big old gap up, and I don't know. That's they must have reported earnings after the bell. I suspect. Yeah. So. So that one, momentum is making a new high. I don't see anything bearish per se right now. You've got this price channel. It's right about in here. Right about there. So looks like an upward price channel, and yeah, just looks bullish to me. I don't want to be long here, and in fact, if it runs up here, I'd rather look for a short because you're at that resistance level. But this is a bullish looking stock, so I don't really want to short something that doesn't have a bearish setup. So I'd rather be more interested in buying at support as of right now, at least. CCJ, Carnival Cruise Lines, right? Or Kamekeo. This is that mineral, uranium, I think. Bearish rising wedge. It had a bearish rising wedge, broke to the upside, broke to the downside. Again, these patterns don't always work out, and so we have to manage risk because there are trades that just aren't going to work out. So if I think a trade looks really good, that's great. That doesn't mean load the boat, load the boat, and if it goes against you, send me hate mail. It's not really how that works. Got to manage your position sizes. So as of right now, I've got that as support. It is a divergent high right now on the RSI, and the RSI is turning down. So you've got some negative divergence there. Not confirmed on the PPO, but it is a divergent high. So doesn't mean it can't go higher, but right now there's support. So I would, I think probably pull back And then ultimately, you can buy at support. If it breaks support, that would be a sell signal. All right, kind of scrolling through UNG. That's our. I am long this one. That's Nat Gas. It's okay. It's consolidating, you know. So it's not a horrible horrible position. Again, I don't load up on this kind of stuff because it's nat gas. It's really volatile. You don't need to have a huge position size. Looks like we got a little bit of a bullish trend going on here. So I would say that's support. And resistance is still right about $8 up to about 808 because that's kind of your high, your reaction high right there. So kind of a zone of resistance. Once we take that out, it should be clear sailing to start to, you know, to trend higher. This pattern, I forget what they call this, but where you have lower or higher lows and then kind of equal highs, it's a bullish pattern where you keep knocking at resistance while the buyers keep stepping in earlier and earlier. So, you know, there's buyers that are looking to buy and they continue to buy at higher prices. That's bullish. And then the sellers are just continuing to knock it down at the same price. So we're consolidating, it's coiling is what they would say, and this should result to the upside. These patterns typically result to the upside. All right, so that's that one. PayPal. Yep, I can look at PayPal. Yeah, slight divergence, but nothing that I really love. You've got, I'm going to go with that as our trend line, and I'd look at that too. It's only 2 data points, so I can't say that it's a trend line, but there's 1, there's 2. If you get a pullback here, that would be a third reaction, and then you could validate that as a trend line. Otherwise, up here, you do actually have some bullish divergence on the daily that's been building. You can see it right here, just right there on the PPO, but I don't see it there on the RSI, so it's kind of mixed. I don't know. I don't have an opinion on it, to be honest. In my opinion, what's the best way to scan for stocks to short? Well, there's several scanners out there. You can set up scanners, like FinViz has a scanner. You can set up a scanner to look for divergences. That's a good way to do it, I think, because that'll just give you things to look at to find bullish or bearish divergences. It just tells you that, okay, trend is intact, but it's about to, you know, or should reverse soon. So that'll give you good setup, and then you look for sell or buy signals. Or another way is just an easier way, I think, is just sector analysis. You just have your sectors, look at the bullish, look for the bullish sectors that are, you know, getting stretched, look for divergences, find the weakest stocks within that sector. That's typically one way to do it. Or look for the very bearish sectors that have divergences and look for the strongest stocks. So that's another way to do it. And you know, I like to jump into FinViz, the heat map and stuff, just to kind of look at that stuff too, to help me find certain stocks. And yeah, sectors is a good way to do it. You just find what's in each sector. You know, look, you know, you want to go long the strongest stocks within a bullish sector. And by bullish, I don't just mean price. If a stock is just rallying like this, going up and up and up, but divergences is building, That's not a bullish sector. Yes, price is bullish, but it's telling you that that trend is coming to an end. So you don't want to be a bag holder late to a trend. You want to be early to a trend, ride that up until that trend dies, right? So you want to buy things that are, you know, before the trend is up, and then you want to look to short things when the trend is extended and when the trend dies. All right, let's see here. All right, I'm getting down to the end of my list, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Let me just finish up these last couple ones. CVX, Palantir. Well, CVX, is that, that's the pharmaceutical or oh, Chevron. I was thinking CVS. So oil stocks. That looks like a downtrend to me right there. That's your trend line resistance. I don't know if I can extend it out to there, but we'll go with that. 3 data points, 3 clean reactions. And this looks like support here. Nice. All right. That's a break of support, and I don't see any divergence. So that looks like a sell signal to me. Rally into resistance. You know, this looks like a sell signal. A sell signal rallies into resistance. It's sell the rip as far as I can tell. Now you might rally up a little more and hit that, but again, to me it looks like sell the rip because I don't see any real divergence on the daily chart. Let me look at the hourly. Yeah, a slight divergence there on the hourly, but usually when you see big moves down, you usually have that divergence on the hourly. So a recovery of that level, 150-ish, would be bullish, as long as it's not just a brief recovery. You know, if you just pop above it, and that's common, they'll just barely pop above it, and then the next day they smash it. So you want to see an impulsive recovery, then that would be bullish. And if you get that, then I think you very likely are going to trade all the way back up to this resistance line. All right, so that's what I'd look for. But as of right now, it looks bearish to me. PLTR. So, you know, this was negative divergence here. That was a divergent high, and they sold into it. All right. And then, I don't know. You're probably going to go make a new divergent high. You're so close now. It's probably going to go up and make a new divergent high. And I would look for them to sell into that. Support is right there, 1366. As of right now, it looks like it's going to go make that new divergent high. So that's all I see in that one. Snow. That has bullish divergence here. Excuse me. It's got it there on the RSI as well. So divergent low. Divergent low. Okay, so more of a bullish setup. No real buy signal though, at least not on the daily chart. This thing's got smoked, so it's not like I would, you know, it's not like I'd be really interested in shorting this. I mean, look, this thing is down from the highs. It went down 72%, so could be dead money for a little while. You know, as you can see, it's just chopping around. Hopefully you're not locked into losses from up here and you're just in love with the thing, because it's, you know, it's hopium if you think you're getting your money back from way up there. But, you know, could see a rally here. This trend line, I don't count that as a trend line. It's the only thing I can make, but I only have 2 reactions. So in general, it's just not really a valid trend line. I don't know. Looks choppy to me. But with the bullish divergence, I could see a little, you know, I could see another spike up. OMAB, PAC, and Indo. Well, I'll just pick one of those. I don't know which any of those are, so I'll pick PAC. I don't know. Mexican stocks, maybe? Is that what this is? Aeroportario. I have no idea what these are, but, you know, a chart's a chart. So, this is your bull market, all right? And this is what, COVID lows? COVID lows. That's your bull trend, all right? Your bull trend started to lose momentum, really about here. Okay, there's your negative divergence. Momentum dropping, dropping, dropping. Again, these things take time. They, you know, especially on, this looks like a big index or something. So, all right, so momentum is losing speed. Divergent high, divergent high. That's basically a divergent high, and that's basically another one. But, and you could, you know, and I could maybe move this down to like that and call that the trend line. But in general, their sell signal was like right in here, okay? Breakdown, sell signal, and the divergence told you to be on the lookout for it. Because look, when these divergences show up, these divergent highs keep the bulls long because they see new highs in price. If you're just watching price, they get a little spike high in price. They get happy and bullish, and they don't exit because they look at their thing and they say, oh, I'm making money. It's still going up. Then it comes down, and they're like, well, I think it's going to continue to go up. And then it makes a new divergent high, and they stay in the trade because price goes up. But all along, they're really not making any money. It's just because they're not selling on these divergent highs. It keeps them in the trade. So they stay in the trade. They don't exit. And then, you know, sell signal, sell the rip. Rally into resistance, and that's pretty much all you got. Rally. So, yeah. I don't know. It's bearish, so I'd sell the rip still. Now, there's a gap to fill, so that's probably that would be objective to short. If you got to rally into that gap, that's where I'd want to short it at. HYG and TNA. I covered the interest rates and bonds and stuff on Friday, so we're not going to go into that one. NEL. Okay, guys, no more. I'm going to just wrap up what's on this list. So, no, I'm not going to do that one. There's not enough liquidity in that one. Amgen. Actually, here's one that I'm looking at, guys. If you guys want a trade idea, it hasn't triggered yet, but this is Eli Lilly. It's been very strong because I think they have some weight loss pill that's the miracle pill apparently, but that's priced in. All right, that's all priced in. I mean, this thing's ripped. This is the channel, the upward price channel here, and it's diverging. All right, so it's in an upward price channel for sure. You have divergence there. You have extended divergence. The divergence is becoming steeper now. Here, nice clean divergence, and you've got support, still holding support, and then resistance. So there's your upward price channel, and we need to break support. All right, we haven't broken it yet. We need a sell signal. Earnings is out of the way, so we don't have the earnings risk, which is good, and it has not broke support yet. So again, I would just, we're waiting for this one, but you got support. There's another reaction. Lots of reactions on support. Divergence, we need to break support. We break support, we've got gaps to fill. Big old gap right there. So that'd probably be a pretty nice target in the 200-day, and so that would be my target. Looks like it's going to happen soon, but it hasn't happened yet. So once we break that, I think it'll be sell the rip. We'll work our way down to gap fill. And you got gap entry, so probably a pretty quick move down to gap entry. You get a counter trend bounce into resistance, and then work your way down to gap fill. So that's what I see happening. Again, I can't short it yet because we don't have a sell signal. We need to break support. So there's that one. That's a medical one. And then AMGN. So there's your divergence. See your negative divergence here. Boom. And then you've got divergent high. So high probability of getting sold into, which it did. I can't make a super clean trend line, but I guess right about there. Yeah, I'd say this is a sell signal. The sell signal was here. Boom. Lots of follow through. Counter trend rally. Could rally up to the trend line. That would be the objective area to short a back test of resistance. So I like that as a sell the rip stock when or if it rallies into resistance. Gold, yeah. Gold's a little messy right now. It's very interest rate sensitive, and interest rates, there's some stuff going on, obviously with the Fed. This one, Newmont, I didn't take this thing home. I was looking for a breakout. It just didn't quite get it. But look, Newmont, you got this big bullish falling wedge, and it was started to pop, and they kind of weren't really, it wasn't gaining momentum, and it didn't look like it was going to break out on Friday. So I didn't take it home long. But, keep an eye out on that. You've got some bullish divergence on the PPO, nothing really on the RSI. So I don't know. It's not the cleanest chart. All right, last one, which will be Goog, which I prefer Google. I think it's got more history. I think this is the original one, right? Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. So, I mean, we're in a downtrend. Look, this was your uptrend. Bearish rising wedge, okay? Negative divergence, okay? And sell the rip. That's what this has been. All right. So you had a sell signal here. They rallied it up for a back test and a divergent high. On the private member group, if you guys are in there, I clearly pointed out that this back test here was an objective, very objective short entry right there. People that people that just follow price would have just seen a higher price and they just are happy and they don't exit. But I saw that as the very, very low risk, low risk, high reward opportunity to take a short trade. And that was correct. All right, boom, big move down on earnings. We hit support, so I covered my Google short that I did enter, and added to it, and it was very profitable. I covered that short right there at support. So now we've rallied into resistance. We've got a couple resistance levels. One, we're pretty much at resistance right here and now. Let me just kind of clean this up. We're going to call this resistance right about there because look, you had support, you gapped right down to it, and you're above it now slightly, but again, the market makers love to play games at key levels. So you have to don't think of things as like rigid walls of support or resistance, but more kind of like a buffer zone. And that's because that's where the market makers like to run stops. So when you have a key level, they'll pop it above that level to run stops. And then they'll reverse it. And so that's what this looks like to me. Now, if they continue higher, okay, fine, then maybe we're going to run up to this next level of resistance, which would be all the way up here, roughly at 133.75. So that's possible. I don't think we'll go much beyond that. I would be willing, I'd be interested in taking a short here, and I think I have one actually as of Friday, because it's very similar to the triple Q short. I'm shorting at this resistance, and if they go up here, I probably would add, but that's about it. I don't want to add anything above that. If it breaks above that, I'd really be looking to stop out, because at that point, it's probably going to go on and put a new divergent high, and we've got to look for a better entry. So I want to short right here. I'd want to maybe add a little there, and that's it. And it's sell the rip. All right, that's what I see. The measure, look, you go down, lower lows. I think you make a lower high. So yes, could get up to this 120, this next level of resistance. That would still be a lower high right there. And the measured target, you take the widest part of the wedge, which I really have. I mean, it's really, you know, right about there, point of the breakdown. And that sets us up for a move down to about 116-ish, somewhere right there. So again, that's the major target, and that's where I think we're heading. Okay, that's all I got, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get on with my day. So drop me a thumbs up on your way out. I do appreciate that. We only had 25 likes, so and I'll catch you guys on Monday. All right, take care.